I love the way that you work, and I feel that your mindset around the sound is amazing, because everything you said is really, really helpful. So an interesting way to explain it is I work with vibrational sound therapy, which is, I specialise in working with tuning forks and quite large chime pipes. So for anyone who's not seen a tuning fork, this is a tuning fork. This is one, and this is the other one. So this one you would listen to, and this one you place on your body, which I'll go into a little bit later, but it's just so people can actually visualise. If I start by talking a little bit about energy. Now, Nikola Tesla said, if you want to know the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency and vibration. Now, this is really key because everything is energy, including us as human beings. So our bodies, organs, cells, brain, our thoughts, our emotions are all transmitting an energy, a vibration, and ultimately a frequency. So when you think about it, our bodies are creating their own unique sound systems, which is amazing. It's just, we just can't hear it sometimes. So with all of that, an easy way to explain, well, what I should probably say firstly is that when our bodies, and this is where your work definitely comes in, Althea, is that when we're feeling not quite right or poorly, this is because some part of us energetically has become imbalanced. And when we dig deeper, what we find is that when we think of the energy, I've already said that emotions and thoughts carry an energy form. And if our emotions are imbalanced through something that's happened to us, like trauma, eventually that discord within the body, that dissonance gets stuck, and then it sends a message to us, which could be a pain in the shoulder or a headache. So our body is becoming a messenger of, there's something unresolved sitting here energetically that I really want you to look at. So I actually work with sound to put the harmony back in. Now, an easy way to explain that is if you look at the, if I show you the tuning fork here, so if I strike that and you can see the vibration, what happens is that when you place one vibrating object next to the other, they come in sync. So they'll start vibrating at exactly the same one. So if there's a part within our body that isn't vibrating how it should because we're poorly, the frequencies that I work with will raise the lower frequency and bring it into balance with the frequencies that I'm working with. It will just resonate. So sound, it's really interesting. The faculty of hearing is one of the first senses to develop in utero, and it's one of the last senses to go. And within that, we obviously hear the sound through the ear, which is amazing. And we also absorb sound through the skin. So the sound waves going through the skin. And sound travels 5 times faster through water than air. Obviously, our bodies are made up of 70% water, which makes it the perfect vessel for allowing sound to travel. Yeah. It's amazing. And then when we hear through our ear, the listening part, we actually have the vagus nerve. So the vagus nerve is attached to the brain, and it's a really gangly nerve that goes all the way through the body and attaches to nearly all of our organs. So sound will go into the body and it travels where it needs to go. It's very, very clever. But the frequencies that I work with will work on very different levels, sometimes physical, sometimes emotional, sometimes spiritual, connecting us to a different mindset. Yeah, so I think we were talking, weren't we, about the analogy earlier. So a good way of putting it is that if you imagine that you've gone to the beach for the day and it's a beautiful sunny day, you will always remember the warm sand between your toes, the ocean gently lapping, and then somebody's playing volleyball and the ball comes along and it hits you on the shoulder. Now, that day, you've got all of your memories that are stored within you, and one of those memories isn't just the warm sunshine, it's the ball actually hitting you on the shoulder. And that pain, you know, you might have been that day, you know, you may have had parents who are a bit like, oh, don't cry, you'll be okay, you know, but really you wanted to cry because it really hurt. So you actually trap that feeling, that trauma, that emotion within your body. And each time you think of the beach or go to the beach, it's getting tighter and tighter because you think, oh, the beach, oh, I remember that. That's when I got hit by the volleyball and it really hurt. Unconscious, it's stored, yeah, within the shoulder, but then the shoulder gets tighter and it's hurting more and more and more. And this is where we have the emotion stored. So I actually work a lot with people on their emotions and trauma, any past hurt that they've experienced, and you actually go back to that and you work with the sound to deconstruct that stagnant energy. They will feel relief immediately, but obviously you have to, then you work with somebody as well with the sound, but you're also helping them with their mindset and their emotions. So there's lots of work that I do with the sound and mindset and coaching as well. Yeah, but with sound, it just works. It's instinctively, it just goes in and the body will go, oh, I've got that, if that makes sense. Yeah. An easy way is if you imagine your body as an orchestra and the orchestra is playing a symphony. So it's all nice and tuned and flowing, beautiful music going through. But then one day, one of the instruments either goes out of tune or stops playing. And then that not only affects the symphony being played, but it affects the whole orchestra working as a team. So it has like a domino knock-on effect on your whole energy system. So if you think about, let's say, for example, the heart. So the heart is one of the instruments within the symphony, and then the valve goes on the heart. That obviously affects the rest of the symphony being played and the whole system, which is, it's so important to keep all of the body really, like you said, finely tuned. Specialise a lot with trauma and past hurt. So that can be manifesting in a physical condition. But when you get right down to it, as you will know with your work, it's very much stored emotion and trauma that I specialise in are anxiety, depression, stress, overwhelm, that feeling of exhaustion, just can't cope, a lot of mental health stuff going on. So a lot of that manifesting there would be where something's happened to somebody and then they're getting symptoms like headaches, you know, the brain fog, which is the anxiety, which is everything that the body is communicating, which is, please just take time and slow down and listen. And I feel that when people come and have the sound sessions, what happens there is that it's really interesting because people are not used to stopping and slowing down. So they'll want to be busy because they don't actually sometimes want to stop and listen, because it does mean connecting with something that maybe they're trying to avoid. However, when they do that and they do relax and start to create that space, wonderful things begin to happen. One client I worked with, who he'd been to see various counsellors, psychotherapists and everything, but for him, the therapists just weren't connecting. It's nothing to do with those therapies, it's just we're all individuals, we have to find the modality that works for us. So he approached me about vibrational sound therapy, but he was very analytical, you know, in his head. So for him, I showed him a lot of the science behind it, because there's a lot of science. Sound works on a cellular level. It goes really deep. And when I showed him the images of what a healthy cell can look like and an unhealthy cell, he was like, oh my gosh, you know. Now, he suffered a lot from severe depression and severe anxiety, to the point where when he would come to see me, he probably hadn't eaten for quite a few days, because
Wow.
his whole nervous system and digestion was just twisted, you know. It was just really not in a good place, basically. And it became a bit of a standing joke, because as soon as he'd had the sessions, he would eat. So I always had a sandwich ready for him, because the whole body had rested and relaxed, and the digestion system. So yeah, I'm a huge advocate. Like I do a lot of study with the brain and the nervous system. So for me, a lot of it is, if you can regulate a dysregulated nervous system, that's really, really important, because that's where we get our feelings of fight, flight and freeze, which ultimately will be more heightened if we have stored trauma within us. So that's why I love the nervous system part and the brain. So with an adult, it would be a consultation and then a sequence of sessions. And I'm actually going to start holding workshops for adults. So I've got one coming up. It's going to be the end of March. I haven't quite finalised the date, but I think it's the last Friday in March. And what that does is it goes into detail of helping people to see how their emotions affect them, how to regulate their nervous system, how to start working with the tuning fork to start calming the whole system down and coming into alignment. Because when you listen to sound, it balances the right and left hemispheres of the brain. So it stops all those big feelings of overwhelm coming up. So it's beginning that practice of separating, of becoming, I call it a master of the mind, of separating ourselves between our thoughts and our awareness, and we get bigger and bigger, and that's when we start tuning into what's going on in our body. So I offer that, and I also run programs for children from age 7 upwards, teenagers and young people. So I do a lot of work with those. So those programs show them how to release emotions in a healthy way, learn how to relax, develop an awareness around self-awareness. And they are very much aimed for people with low emotional and mental well-being, anxiety, anger, overwhelm, and it really helps if you're studying for exams as well. I want to say about the humming, because I know, because I love humming, I'm a huge advocate for it, and I obviously speak to my clients about it as well. And I've been doing a lot of studies around it, because as you know, when we hum, we can actually allow that sound to travel within our body, connect, and actually disperse, have increased levels of nitric oxide, and low levels of nitric oxide have been linked to depression. The more you do it, the stronger and stronger it becomes, because your vibration, your frequency is strengthening as well. It's just incredible.